actually an old piece, but Natasha's poem just touched me here, and I love the way she writes. I love the way she performs. So I particularly about today's piece, I love how you brought poetry into such ordinary things, and I grew up in Andheri, so it's very personal. So this is something I wanted to really share with you, especially. Some of you have already heard this before. This is a piece called Flamingos.
Nice piece.
I grew up in a city that had names that were more poetic than the places. Churchgate, Chandivali. Like every suburban Mumbaiker, I knew the 2-kilometer radius around my patch of land, and I knew it really well. I knew how many black pigs there were in Nodul village, how many potholes there were on the road to Sahar airport. Everything else was just some other village. So in 2005, when I saw the word chinch pokey in a job posting, I laughed. I'd heard the word before. I'd heard it in a flop 80s movie called Roop Ki Rani Chodo Ka Raja, where Sridevi's name was Princess Chai Me Chini of Chinch Pokey. And at that time, I'd assumed that such a bizarre name could only originate in somebody's imagination. It turns out, it was a real place in Bombay, and South Bombay. Not the South Bombay of the Parsi accented English and the posh girls, but the South Bombay of the mill workers who wrote the history of the city in their yarns and their dyes and clothes for the rest of the country. It was all gone by the time I went to work there, lost 3 years of union negotiations and labour strikes. Very little remained of the people who had lived their entire lives there. One weed-encrusted pillow here or one broken window somewhere there. And every single day I would leave home from a place full of auditions and casting calls and travel into a place that progress seemed to have forgotten. I'd get down at a station and then walk through bazaars that had piles of coloured powder, turmeric, haldi, mirch powder, all of that, and then take a left turn at a shop that sold phantom cigarettes and chillums at 9 in the morning. Yeah. It was all changing just as I was changing as well. One mill land got taken over and a brand new mall came up in its place, and all that remained there was one sooty chimney that the people who walked in there never chose to look up at, and if they had, they would have seen the old paint on it. It said Phoenix Mills. And I would think, walk respectfully when you walk here. These are the tombstones of my city's past. Yeah. And every single day of my life that I added to the lives that had come before mine, this city became a little more mine. And in my lunch breaks, I would walk around in the lanes around. I saw lanes that were full of fish that did not smell because it was being sold straight out of the sea. There were dalda cans stuffed in the street corners, streaked with oil and many, many years of stories. And there were places with names like Shuri and Cotton Green, which had not heard of Wikipedia, and Wikipedia had also not heard of them. I'd come back on most afternoons and think that maybe I dreamed it all, because these are the kind of things that happen to a Mumbaiker when they go out in the sun after spending too much of time inside an office cubicle. One day, this article caught my eye in the newspaper. It was a story about the pre-monsoon showers, and it was accompanied by this National Geographic style photograph of pink birds. I read it and I said, where in Bombay does this happen? We are a city of crows with thieving intent and pigeons with stomach upsets. Flamingos look too pink to be real. Flamingos belong in Alice's Wonderland, not in modern-day Mumbai. But the article said that flamingos lived in these marshlands throughout the year, and they took flight just before the onset of monsoons. Shivri Station, it said, was the place to get down at if you wanted to go and see them. That day I took the train line and I took the harbour line instead of the western line, and I got down at Shivri Station. And then I took out my newspaper. I half expected to find pink birds flying overhead. So I took out my newspaper and I said, Shivri Flamingos, real station, real birds. On my right hand side was the city in all the shades that new life has, concrete and glass. And on my left there was this blaze of green, the kind of green that you never see in a Mumbai summer. Someday, I said, someday I'll take a left and go and see the flamingos. Maybe tomorrow will be that day. Just as soon as I finish this meeting, I have an important call today. Right after I finish that, I'll think about this. It's very hot and I'm wearing high heels. I can't go tramping around marshlands. I have a conversation about my bonuses today. Right after that gets over, I'll come back. At the end of the month, I was transferred to the Andheri office. And I didn't need to go to Shivri ever again. I never went to Shivri again. Shivri has now been renamed Upper Kolaba. The mills have given way to malls and multiplexes, a very popular nightclub named after a frog. I don't even know whether the flamingos exist there anymore. But I live and breathe among people who are burdened by service tax and bans, and our lives can be changed like this with one ruling from Delhi, just like all those mill workers all those years ago. And I think, in my mind, I know a different city. I know a place where the fish doesn't smell. I know a place where the kids are chewing phantom cigarettes and chasing cycle tires with sticks. And I know that this Annapurna blessed Spanish princess's dowry fishing village of an island has poetry, it has pain, it has history. My city has flamingos. Thank you.